And for our young professionals out there who are finding their ways, and with the quick change of the world nowadays, right? Everyone feels a pressure to advance quickly or to prove who we are, to kind of show, okay, we have a result. And as we know, sometimes things do happen quickly, but sometimes it takes time and slowly compounds. What advice do you have to help them find their ways and be successful?
Yeah, great question. So I think, I can definitely speak to that. When I started at this real estate industry, as I mentioned before, I was just an assistant for 4 years, while at the same time going back to finish college within 2.5 years. But I took the job just as serious as anything else that I have to do, meaning that was top priority. I need to do the best job. I need to be the best assistant. So those time, typically in my industry, people maybe work for 2 years. They feel like they know, and then they say, hey, I would like to become an agent and broker, go on commission only, challenge myself. That's great. And then a lot of people also were successful. But some of the most successful people actually have really mastered the groundwork, the foundation. So I was there 4 years. By my 4th year and ready to become an agent, I was so much faster as I was going to a commission-only job. And most of my peers, they were still kind of like trying to figure things out. I wasn't, and I was closing deal. So I was one of the fastest, highest production agent in Southern California for the first 5 years. But I say that's probably because I built a really solid foundation for my first 4 years. So I would say, speed isn't the most important. It's how ready you are. And only you will know how ready you are. Your mentor can tell you how ready you are. But I would rather take 1 extra year, prepare myself better, versus jumping in a year earlier and go out and maybe not do as well.
That is such an amazing advice. To me, that is grounding. That is anchoring and building that strong fundamental foundation. And when you think about a tree who has deep and big roots, right? Or a tall high-rise buildings who build that deep foundation in order to really build into the high-rise. Yeah. I think, just like, or any professional sports, take basketball. I used to play basketball in high school, but, nowadays a lot of people say, hey, I'm a talented person, skip college, go to MBA, but those college time really help someone build a foundation. I think that's true for everything we do. Yeah. What quality do you think is separate a great leader? Especially, I think, in my opinion, I think that when things are going well, usually it's easier to kind of navigate. But when hard time comes, like what you mentioned about, there are, let's say, the market dipped, there's changes or unforeseeable changes, and we have to act quickly, right? We have to adapt into, it's also like a resilient in terms of how are we changing our plan now based on the actual situation, and how to maintain or uplift your team morales, and also having built that confidence and knowing and or believe that we're gonna, even within the hard time, we're gonna get through this and we're gonna get even better. And how do you cultivate that culture among teams, and also I guess also to share with our audience when things are kind of temporarily in stall moment, how to continue to build that faith?
Yeah, so I would break it down in a couple of simple ways, maybe. I feel like leadership people want clarity, they want transparency from your leader, they want to be able to feel like they like the environment, they work at it, relax, they're happy. So I think just, aside from what do you need to do, aside from that, I just feel like you have to have people that really like each other. You don't get that in the beginning, but I like to treat them like friends that I would want to hang out with after work. Right? If I can after work and still hang out with this guy, even go on vacation, I think I'll have no problem. Vice versa. And so that in itself obviously might be hard to gauge in the beginning, right? Nobody really understand. After the interview, we're going to decide on, both sides, is it going to work out for sure. But I would like to, have that positive vibe. People feel good about it. Now, in the stressful moment, in a stressful working environment like real estate, I think the leader needs to really be calm, right? There's always going to be some ups and downs for sure. But when good things happen, you celebrate their win. It's a lot less about me, and it's more how to make people feel like, what they did contributed to what way. Because sometimes the younger guys may or may not know, they're working so hard, but it's up to the leader and say, look, you've done a super good job on this, and this is what you did. Those kind of feedback makes, the whole partnership more meaningful, and it helps with their growth. I think for me, myself, we can have a bad day, but, we're not trying to blame each other for mistakes, but review the feedbacks and trying to learn from the mistakes. It's tricky, and leadership has a cost, right? The cost sometimes is people misunderstood you, people don't believe you, people see things in only their own way, and sometimes you have to be okay with that. And sometimes you may or may not want to fix all that, but you have to take notes as to what you're observing, and through action, maybe show them, maybe it's not that way. Maybe change their thinking by using your action. I don't know, I think I'm still learning about it. Honestly, I wouldn't say myself as an expert on it. I do have great teammates, and so we're still learning every day.
I love how well connected you and your team, because I do see your team certainly have a really great energy together, because to me, it looks like you and your team, you guys celebrate birthdays together. You guys celebrate each of a milestone that's meaningful to you. And I think that when you're able to work with the people you love in that sense, that really helps the business, bring it to even more effective and efficient way.
Yeah. On top of that, it just reminded me of something. Sometimes people aren't with you forever. Sometimes if you have someone that wants to work with you for a long time, that's great. That's a gift. But sometimes people are in their different stages in their life. But a billionaire client had taught me when I was having an issue with people that I love, and then eventually they left. But he told me, he said, look, don't look at it like that. Look at the time that you guys were together, how much maybe that individual has learned from you guys or helped you guys. And that kind of just shifted my thinking in a big way. And now I can say most of the people that had worked for me over the last 20 years, whether they're with me or not with me, if they're not with me, they're all kind of doing all very well in their different pursuit in their life and their jobs, and I'm very happy to see that.
That is a really, really beautiful way to look at it. And then I do realize sometimes how we interpret things and how we view this world, it's really just sometimes it's a tiny shift in our perspective.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
I wanted to take away one last question for you is, as we continue to grow and learn professionally and personally, what means the most to you that you wanted to continue on or advanced? It could be anything. What matters to you the most right now?
I think what matters to us is we've built a solid team, but we want to continue to grow. And in order to grow, we will probably need to also improve in efficiency, in everyone's ability, and everyone is growing too. So how do we build this team where everyone's advancing and also adding new talents to serve our clients, our community even better? That's something that I'm continuously very focused on doing. No signs of any slowing down. I like to see if one day I take a step back a little bit, that this team without me is still running really well or even better. I like to leave later on, what we've built for future people, and this entity doesn't have to end if somebody, the leader, decides to take a step back.
The greatest leader is when in their absence, the team or the organization continues to thrive.
To run. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I really love everything that you've shared because there's a lot of heart, a lot of compassion, a lot of passion in this industry and in things that you do. I want to thank you so much for your time here today. And I want to thank you for you bringing in the clarities and to share with us and let us know that wisdom is a matter of perspective, the choices that we make, the work ethic, the integrity that we carry. And thank you for being here with us. And we'll be back soon with another conversation.